Hello and welcome to Thursday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where today we're going to be taking a look at the puzzle on the screen, which is called Not the Same, and it's by Samantha Mukherjee. Now, Samantha's appeared on the channel a few times before. I think in the early days I used to do Samantha's puzzles. More recently, Mark's been doing them. But Mark actually tested this one. It came in very recently and he had a look at it and he sent it on to me with the instruction, this is definitely a Simon sort of puzzle, whatever that means. So I'm looking forward to trying it. Mark says it's brilliant and it certainly looks very interesting. Anyway, I'll read you the rules in just a moment. If you're regulars to the channel, you may notice I'm in a different position today. I have finally bought myself a mic stand after however many years it is we've been doing the channel. And this is quite a revelation for me because basically I'm now able to solve this puzzle on the screen at the same distance I sort of test solve puzzles. So if I'm test solving or just solving for fun ever, this is where I sit. You know, I'm this far away from the screen, which I guess is just short of a meter away from it. Now, for the last few years, well, since the year dot, when I've been solving on video for the channel, I get about at least 1.5 feet nearer to the screen. And that's, I think, one of the reasons I really struggle with scanning, because my eyes just aren't used to the way they have to move to scan properly. So I'm hoping that this innovation, if I can call it that, will result in better solving on these videos. You will be the judges, but I hope the sound's okay. If the sound is a problem or it's different from usual and you don't like it, please let me know in a comment. Now, what else do I need to mention? Some exciting news, I hope. Tomorrow night we're going to be back streaming again. Not with Bubba Is You, although we haven't abandoned Bubba Is You by any means. We just want to mix it up from time to time. And we've had a lot of requests, especially around Christmas time. People think it will be amusing, I think, for us to play a game called Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes. So I've downloaded the game this morning. Mark and I are hoping to do this tomorrow night, 10 PM UK time. The only fly in that ointment, apart from our likely ineptitude at the game, is that I am being boosted tomorrow. I'm having my booster jab. And if I feel really awful after that, then we may have to abandon it. But I hope I'll be okay. And if I am, 10 o'clock tomorrow night, we'd love to have your company. Also, there's a load of bonus stuff around the channel at the moment. First thing is we released another of these YouTube Shorts videos this morning, which is a 59-second video explaining the X-Wing technique. So if you need a refresher on that, do check it out. And we'll be releasing more of these in due course. In fact, if you have any good ideas for what would make a good YouTube short about Sudoku, do let us know. The other thing is tomorrow on the channel, 10 AM again, I'm going to be releasing my latest foray into the world of genuinely approachable pencil puzzles. These are the puzzles that are published every day over on the Discord server. They're completely free and they're absolutely wonderful by world-class constructors. And I'm tending to do 7 or 8 of them in a video at a time. And so I recorded myself yesterday doing that, and those should be available. As I say, the video will be out tomorrow. Do have a look at that. Other than that, what else have we got? I can't remember. Well, the big news which is happening on Saturday, 4 PM UK time on Saturday, we have the pyramid puzzle hunt. Now that's a lot of plosives in one sentence. That's going to test the mic. But the pyramid puzzle hunt is it's just a masterpiece. It's our Christmas gift to those of you who've followed and supported the channel on Patreon. Thank you so much if you're one of those people. I promise you, this pyramid puzzle hunt is it's quite extraordinary and you will love it. Anyway, I'll say no more about that, but we're really stoked to share that one with you. I've got nothing else to say, I don't think. I should shut up and get on with solving. Let's have a look at Not the Same. And these are the rules. Normal Sudoku rules apply. The grey lines are palindromes and must read the same forwards and backwards. So let's just stop and check we understand what a palindrome is. So this line here, that means if that was 1, 2, 3, that would have to be 3, 2, 1. So that if we read the line from this direction, it would read 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. And if we read it from this direction, it reads exactly the same, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. So it's like names like Hannah and Anna. That's one way to think about it. In cages, digits must sum to the small clue in the top left corner of the cage. Okay, So we've got a few sort of dominoes, so those two digits there have to add up to 10, these two to 9, those two to 15, those two to 4, etc. Clues outside the grid give the sum of the digits along the indicated diagonal, so those 3 cells add up to 23, etc. And a black dot separates cells containing digits with a 1:2 ratio. Not all dots are necessarily given. So this domino here, one of these digits is double the other one. So if that was a 4, well, this isn't going to work because it's in a 9 cage, but if that was a 4, this square here could be a 2 or an 8. And then we would assume 8 is double 4, and of course 4 is double 2. And that is all of the rules. Do have a go at the puzzle. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. Now I get to play. Let's get cracking. Glasses are adjusted. Position is better. And I've got no excuses, have I? Right, that's a 1-3 cage. Look, in the 4. So this 4 cage can only contain 1 and 3, because double 2 is not a valid way of filling in a column of Sudoku. Oh dear. Okay, well, 6, 8, 9 on this diagonal, because 23 and 3 different digits, the only way of doing that is 6, 8 and 9. One of those is in a 9 cage, so this square here has got to be a 1 or a 3. So this is either 3 and 6 or 1 and 8. This one is on a palindrome, so that cell there has got to be 6, 8 or 9. Keyboard's in a different position compared to my hand as well, so that's going to lead to a whole load of mistypes. Oh, right, yeah, okay, this 9 cage, let's come back to this. This can only be 3 and 6. We need one of the digits to be double the other. 9, of course, is odd. So the only way of doing that is going to be with 3 and 6. Nothing else will add up to 9. What else have we got there? A 22 3-cell diagonal must have a 9 on it. It's either going to be 9, 5, 8 or 9, 6, 7. I'm just wondering, if we get this little N-shaped palindrome here, if it's got a 9 on it there, then it's also got a 9 on it here, which would eliminate a 9 from those 2 cells on the other, on this sort of upside down N at the bottom, and put a 9 there. Yeah, and then we'd have to be a bit careful about not putting a 9. Yeah, these N's are a bit interesting, aren't they? Because any digit that appears on an N is automatically ruled out of the whole of the column containing the N. So what I mean by that is if I put 8 here, and therefore, because of the palindrome, I'd have to have 8 here. You now can't put 8 in any of those cells in the rest of the column. And that applies for every single N-shaped palindrome. Okay, I can't see what to do with that, but I can tell you that there is a little trick we can do with a 3-cell series like this connected by black arrows, because you can never put 3 and 6 on these black arrows, because if you do, the other digit that you'll have to accompany the 3 and the 6 with is either going to be a 1.5, that's not valid, or a 12, also not valid. So this central square actually has to be a 2 or a 4. There's always a 4 on a 3-cell string like this, and there's always a 2. And the other digit, which will have to be at one of the ends, will either be a 1 or it'll be an 8. So this is either a 2, 4, 8 string, or it's a 1, 2, 4 string. So that's why the middle cell has to be a 2 or a 4. So it's not got a 3 or a 6 on it. So that means 3 and 6 in the central box are at the top, which means 3 and 6 are over here. Now if that's a 3 and 6, that would palindromically, magically come down here through the medium of Wizardry, and it would be, if that's a 3 or a 6. If that was true, that would force this to be a 1-8 pair. Don't see how we force that though. Okay. But 3 and 6 are interesting digits from the point of view of these two 10 cages, because they rule out 3, 7 and 4, 6 from appearing in these 10 cages. So these 10 cages are going to have to be 1, 9 and 2, 8. Oh, my phone is buzzing at me. But that means that 4 in box 6, look, now can't be in those 4 cells, or these 3, because it's definitely in one of those 3 cells. So 4 is shunted onto the palindrome, which means 4 is in one of 2 places on the other side of the palindrome in box 8. So this 10 cage is now not 4, 6. So this is 1, 9, 2, 8 or 3, 7. Oh, we've got a 13 diagonal here. No, I don't see how to do that. 15 cage here, so this 15 cage is either 6, 9 or 7, 8. Oh, we've got a 21 diagonal interacting slightly with this. That still doesn't put enough pressure on that. The minimum 4 different digits can add up to, or the maximum 4 different digits can add up to in a Sudoku is 30. So even knowing these are 21 doesn't really put a great deal of pressure on this digit. It still can be any of the options it currently has. Wow, okay. This is where we start to get the fear, because what am I missing here? I seem to be... If this is 1, 2, 4, that puts no pressure on. No, if it's 2, 4, 8, there's no... I was wondering whether there would be any pressure on the 10 cages here, but there isn't. Oh no. What do we do next? We must... Wow, okay. Is it something to do with... I'm wondering about sort of colouring these palindromes in. So for example, you know, we know those 2 cells are the same. But at first blush, I can't see what that does. Because these palindromes are so regular, you know, it's very easy to see, you know, if we know those 2 digits are the same, and we do, I'm locking these 2 digits into a 2 by 2 in box 5, but I can't see what on earth that means. Golly. Oh dear, dear, dear. What do we do next? It's not Fistamafel, I don't think. I mean, this is very close to a Fistamafel ring, except without its corners. Let me just have a look at that for a second. No, I don't think it is that, because we don't know anything about the 2 by 2s. Or we know almost nothing about them, so that doesn't feel good either. Don't like the look of that. I'm a bit lost, actually. It's not maths, I don't think. 10 and 9 are not large enough for us to, or small enough for us to use the secret. The secret being, of course, that any row, column, or indeed box of a Sudoku, because of the rules of Sudoku, contains the digits 1 to 9. And there's a little secret about that, which I only tell very special people. The digits 1 to 9 add up to 45. And 45 is therefore the Sudoku secret, not 42, as Douglas Adams might have thought. So is it the ends? Is this really... Oh. I was wondering whether I could... I can't really, though. I don't know of any digit that is definitely in this 2 by 2. No, I don't. Although... No, I don't. Okay, golly. Right, are we looking for some madness then? Is that the trick? Is it some sort of... Have we got to do set on something in the puzzle? That's normally where I go when I get completely stuck, is I assume that the setter has built in some mad geometry that we've got to find. But here, the most natural geometry would look like the Fistamafell ring, and I don't see how to use that. Oh no, I know what it'll be. I know what it will be. Of course it will. Simon. Golly. Right, what I've just realised is that this palindrome will allow, if I can get that row and that column into different geometries, I can cancel these digits out and I'll be able to do the same there. Right, so we're looking at, I think we're going to be looking at column 3, column 7, row, well, let's do this slowly. We'll highlight those in blue and we'll highlight row 3 and row 7 in orange to be colorblind friendly. Now, let me just see if I can see anything immediately before I explain. Yes, I can. I can definitely see at least something we can talk about. So, what am I doing here? Well, the blue cells, that's a complete column there and another complete column there. So that's 2 complete columns of the Sudoku. In other words, it's 2 sets of the digits 1 to 9. Some people find it easier if we think about this in terms of Scrabble tiles. So imagine I write, we know that this is a set of the digits 1 to 9, so I can write the digits 1 to 9, 1 on each Scrabble tile, and then I can do the same for column 7. I'm going to have 18 Scrabble tiles, and I'm going to put them in a blue bag. And I'm going to do then exactly the same with orange Scrabble tiles for row 3 and row 7. So I'm going to have 18 Scrabble tiles in an orange bag. And we know that both bags contain the same digits at this point because they each contain 2 sets of the digits 1 to 9. So if I find this digit, whatever this digit is, let's say that digit was a 3. Let's say I go rummaging around in my blue Scrabble bag for a 3 and rummaging around in my orange Scrabble bag for a 3, and I pull both 3s out and I throw them away. Obviously, hopefully obviously, it's still true to say that both bags contain the same sets of digits. They may only then contain 17 digits, but they can still contain the same thing because they contained the same thing originally, and I just threw the same thing out of both of them. So I can repeat that for all of these cells with 2 colours. Each of those can be removed from our Scrabble sets. And look, I can go much further. This palindrome, that digit is the same as that digit. So I can go and find this one in orange and remove its equivalent in blue, and it will still be the case, having done that. The blue and the orange bag, the remnants in the blue and the orange bag will be the same. Same there, same there, same here, and same here. So all of the palindromes get removed. I think I just removed a pencil mark from there by mistake, which I didn't mean to do. I just wanted to remove the colour. So we end up here where we've got 8 digits left, or 8 Scrabble tiles left in our blue bag and 8 Scrabble tiles left in our orange bag. And we're getting very close to something interesting because all of these dominoes are in cages, and we know that they add up to 34. 15 plus 10 plus 9. So 34 plus this domino is the sum of the blue dominoes, because we know that the digits are the same. So obviously whatever the blue digits add up to must be the same as what the orange digits add up to. Now unfortunately we know much less about the the blue dominoes, although we do know that the blue dominoes, even though they're not in cages, they are all on palindromes. What's that doing? Okay, I don't know is the answer. I'm suspicious of this. It feels weird. I can't see anything from the basic pattern here though. If I knew what those two cells added up to, that would feel like we really had made some progress as a result of this jiggery-pokery we've just done. But I really don't know what this domino adds up to. I haven't even got the remotest clue. I mean, I know it doesn't add up to 17, for example, because if it did, then the 15 cage would be impossible. But it can add up to at least 15, or it could add up to as little as 3. So, if it added up to 15, no, that would still work with the 22. What happens if you transpose these blue regions inwards then? Is that meant to be telling me something clever? I'm just wondering, because this seems to be very precisely designed, doesn't it? So whatever's in those two cells is clearly the same as whatever's in these two cells because of the palindrome. So what we could do is this. We could move that one in there. We could move this one in here. We could move this one in here. Now we can't do that with this because this isn't on a palindrome, but we could move that one in. I'm not really seeing the point of doing this though. What is this doing? What are you up to here, Samantha? What are you trying to make me think about? This is weird. I can't blame my scanning. I really feel a lot more comfortable in this position, I have to say. I feel like I ought to be able to see what I can move this domino inwards. But I can't do the same with orange, and I can't do the same with the remaining blue, and I'm not sure I even understand the point of moving these dominoes inwards. $15.10. That was 34, wasn't it? Those are 29. Ah, right. Why though? Why? Sorry, I know I'm being, I've gone mute, but I've noticed something. I'm just trying to understand why it matters, if indeed it does matter. What I've noticed is I can move all of the orange dominoes and all of the blue dominoes inwards. I can move all of them inwards, I believe. I can't. We're going to have to slightly tweak our Scrabble tile analogy to do this. I can't quite see what this means. I'm tempted to say this might be it might require us to reverse the set we did at the start, which I would absolutely love as an idea, but I'm having difficulty visualizing it. If I do that, I've got the sums are the same. I can force stuff. There is something going on, maybe. Let me explain the thought I had here, and people can tell me if they think this is gibberish. I'm going to move this one in to here. Now, at this point, it's true to say that the orange digits and the blue digits are identical. So that whatever we've got in our Scrabble bags are the same sets of digits. Now, let's abandon for the moment the idea that we're going to keep the digits identical. I now want to think about the sum of what's in my blue bag and the sum of what's in my orange bag. Because these two digits here add up to 9, as do those two. So I could take these out of orange and add whatever these two digits are. Now these don't have to be the same as these at all, but I do know they add up to the same number. So I now know that my orange bag still has the same total as it did before. It may not have the same digits anymore as blue though, but it still adds up to the same as blue. Now I can take the 10 out of that one and put it in there. And it's still true to say that the orange and the blue digits add up to the same number. Now look what happens if we shift the orange domino into here. So we actually lose 5 if we do this off orange altogether. But if I shift the blue in here, I lose 5 as well. So it would still be true to say if I move that in there and this in here, it's still true to say that overall blue and orange add up to the same. And that's weird, isn't it? That's weird, and it feels deliberate. It feels like a very clever setter might have done that deliberately. But then we get the question of what this means. Now this is very close to what we had at the start, which was this pattern, but shifted entirely in by 1. So what I'm wondering is if we unwind it the other way. So if we'd been trying to create a set using row 4 and 6 and column 4 and 6, are we going to be able to delete stuff on the palindromes again, or are we going to get, we're also going to get a whole load of stuff in the central box as well, which might actually not be very useful. I don't know. Let's have a quick look at this. So what I'm saying now is I'm going to abandon altogether. Oh, that's a horrible choice of colour. I don't know what colour to choose. I use green. That seems to show up quite well against the orange. I'm now going to note that that's 2 complete sets of the digits 1 to 9. So now I've got a green bag of 18 Scrabble tiles. And this is a different, well, it's still 8. Let's make that purple. Hopefully that's standing out against the blue. So this is also, the purple bag now contains 18 Scrabble tiles as well that are identical to green. Now, this is where it's going to get tricky. We know that we can remove anything that has green and purple from both bags. I know that digit is the same as that digit. That can be removed from both bags. I can remove those two from, because they're the same because of the palindrome. These two are the same because of the palindrome. Those two are the same because of the palindrome. Oh, I've got it. I have got it. It's taken me half an hour, but I have got it. Wow. Wow. This is ridiculous. This is getting even... I mean, this is on the edge of madness, I think. Wow. Right, okay, now ignore the cells in the central box. Ignore them for a moment and look at the other coloured cells in the puzzle. Now, the other coloured cells, we proved that these cells added up to the same number a few minutes ago. In fact, let's just click unwind and go back to where before we did all. Yeah, we had this pattern. So in this pattern, the blue cells added up to the same number as the orange cells. Now, look where we are after doing our set analysis here. We're exactly in this position where we know that these 8 cells add up to the same as those cells. So I'm just going to delete those. They add up to the same thing. And I'm left here where the green cells add up to the same as the purple cells. And why do I think I've done it now? Well, how could this ever be 1, 2, 4? If this is 1, 2, and 4, the extreme cells in it are 1 and 4 and add up to 5. That means those 2 cells have to add up to 5 without being a 1-4 pair and without using the 2 that's going to be in the middle of the grid. That is impossible. So that digit I'm going to claim is a 4. These 2 digits are now a 2-8 pair. So these 2 digits have to add up to 10. And they have to be odd because both even versions of 10 are impossible now because 2, 8 and 4, 6 are ruled out. So that square is not a 6 anymore. Don't tell me this does nothing. Oh, I've just realised that I think I had some 4 pencil marks before into those cells and those cells. I can now get those back though because I know that this is a 4. 2. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. This is so... I think we may have just been on a complete wild goose chase. I don't believe it. I've got this digit. It doesn't do anything, does it? That is one of the most hard-earned, useless things I've ever done on this channel. Oh, that felt so beautiful as well. Oh, Poppins. Got a 1, 3 here, and one of those digits must appear here, but we don't know. I don't think we know which of those it has to be on. I think it can be on all 3. Ah, no, hang on. Hang on, look. These 10 cages, one of them is a 1, 9, 10 cage. Oh, this is beautiful. So that means one of these sees a 1, 9 in its row. If we don't care which one, it removes the possibility for this being a 1, 9 pair. Because one of these dominoes is a 1, 9 pair and rules both options out from the green cells. So the green cells are 3 and 7. So what does that mean? Oh, I see. And now this 3, 6 pair here tells us the order. Oh, this is beautiful. What does that mean? That means 3 has to be in one of those 3 cells. Ah, and 3 can't be there because of the palindrome is on. It would go there. If this is a 3, you have to put a 3 here and it will clash. So the 3 is on the palindrome at the top, which means there's a 3 in one of these 2. Ah, here we go. Here we go. Now you can't put a 3 on a 22 diagonal. That's impossible. The other 2 digits would have to be a 10 and a 9 or something, and that's as ridiculous as a debigulator. So that's not 3. This must be 3. That means that's 3 because it must reflect on the palindrome. Oh, look, and now we get a 3 here by Sudoku, which means that's not a 3. Okay. What does that mean? 3 here, 3 here. 3 comes out of these 2 cells in the middle box now. That's not going to work. 1 in the middle box must be in one of 2 places. So 1 in box 2 is in one of 3 places. If 1 was here, it would go there. Sorry, now that was not a short interruption this time. We had an interruption yesterday, and I've had a much longer interruption today. I think and I fear this is going to happen more and more over the next couple of weeks. And yeah, I had to split up an argument about who was the worst baddie, Lucius Malfoy or Wormtail. Now the answer is obviously Wormtail, but someone wasn't accepting that. So that was the first thing, and then I had to do lunch, and then I had to blow leaves, and now it's dark, and yeah, so now I'm back to this, but I have no recollection of where I was up to. But I didn't want to abandon the video because obviously this is quite an unbelievable puzzle so far. So let me just try and restore what was going on. We were just... What were we doing? We got some 3s. Oh, okay. I just got 3s at the top of the grid. So let's see if we can use that. Okay, so we just got some 1s here. And I remember hoping that we had broken the back of this by getting this extraordinary stuff in the middle box. But perhaps that was wishful thinking. 3s, we can not perhaps do anything more with those. We can 7s down here. Can we do something with that? What? Oh, 1. Oh no, that's I think I just got this pencil mark, hadn't I? 7 down here. Now, if 7 is on the N palindrome, that... I don't know. In fact, well, one way of looking at this is the 7 is definitely on a palindrome cell in box 8. It's either this palindrome or in one... Ah, no, it can't... Ah, that's interesting. That is interesting. Okay, so let's look at 7 in this box. Where does it go? It doesn't go here. Because if it goes there, it reflects there and sees itself via the medium of palindrome-ness. So that doesn't work. So the 7, I think, is definitely in one of those 2 cells. So it's either reflecting onto this palindrome here or this palindrome here. Either of which might be possible. Oh, 21, have I looked at that recently? I definitely haven't looked at it recently, but did I look at it recently earlier? I still don't think that looks terribly constrained, I have to say. Okay, there's a simple deduction. Look at this domino. That domino can't be 2-8, because that will pair up with that 2-8 and plonk a Schrödinger cell into the grid. This cell would simultaneously have to be a 2 and an 8, because neither of these squares can be 2-8. And you can't make this square a 2 and an 8 at the same time, so that doesn't work. So that's got to be a 1-9 pair. Oh, this right, here we go. Here we go. So now we've got a 1-9 pair looking at a pencil mark 1. So that places 1 down here. Places 1 over there. Oh, they look like they might align in the end, don't they, those 2? 9 by Sudoku in the central box has to live in exactly this cell. So 9 is over there as well. And that means those 2 squares at the top of box 5 are a 5-6 pair, which might matter, but again I can't quite see how to use that. Row 6 now, we've placed 7 digits, look, at least approximately, so those 2 squares must be a 4-5 pair, and that's on a palindrome reflecting here. And that's on a palindrome reflecting here. Oh, that's right, and that's beautiful. This puzzle is beautiful. 4-5 pair in column 6, so that square's got to be a 6 now, which means that square's a 5. And what does that mean? That means that we can... I'm sure we can do something. I just don't know what that something is. Oh, I tell you something. 7 is on this N now at the top. So that must have a 7 on it on the right hand side as well. Right. So where does 7 go in this box? It's got to go exactly in that domino. And that looks like it's creating a 3, 6, 7 triple. Is that right? It is right. Yes, beautiful. So that's a 3, 6, 7 triple, which means that's a 4 or a 5. Oh, and that can't be a 5. Right, so this is a 5, this is a 4, this is a 5, this is a 4, this is a 7, this is a 7, and the puzzle, I think, is it tumbling? It might be. Go on, tumble a bit further. Humpty Dumpty like. Come on, let's... How do we do that? That 9 cage must be difficult now. Yes, look, it can't be 4, 5, 3, 6 or 2, 7. That's got to be 1, 8. That means... Oh, almost. I was going to say that means 1 in row 7. Has to be in that 9 cage, but it could perhaps be here as well. Let's just put those in. This 10 cage now can't be 1, 9 or 2, 8 or 4, 6, so that's 3, 7. Whoops, I want to do that in a different pencil mark. 3, 7. Oh, look, 3, 7. That's going to be a 1. That's going to be an 8. And that means this isn't a 1, and it means those two squares are now a 6, 9 pair. Oh, and I suppose, yeah, via the palindrome, that therefore is a 6 or a 9. These 3 squares have got to be 2, 7 and 8 at the top of box 4. Oh, so we know what these squares are beneath them. They must be 1, 9 and 5, I think. No, not 5. Oh yeah, 1, 9 and 5. 5 is right. So now we can probably reflect some of this onto palindromes, can't we? So that square is a 1, 5 or a 9. Oh, I see. Look. These are all on palindromes, and they all reflect into row 3. So there is effectively now a 2, 7, 8 triple in row 3, which means that 15 cage doesn't have 7 and 8 in it. That's now 6 and 9. Where does 9 go in column 7? It's got to go here by Sudoku because of these 9 pairs. That's not a 3. So this square is a... Oh, look. Yeah, that square reflects there and can't be a 7, so that's got to be 6. That's got to be 6. That's a 3, 7. Oh no, I've broken it. Oh no, I haven't broken it, because always be on the lookout when you think you've broken a puzzle for something like that. That's the only reason I think that this little killer is going to help me to determine which of these is 3 and 7, and therefore disambiguate what would otherwise be a deadly pattern. That's a 2, 7 pair at the top. Oh, and that reflects onto those cells, which means this square here is an 8. Oh, that's gorgeous. Now we've got a 2, 7 pair over there. Oh, hang on. Oh, I see. And it's exactly the same here. Look, that's why this little killer is here. To do this exactly the same problem we had with this 3, 7 and is arising in this 2, 7, but will be fixed by this 22. In fact, now I think about it, that's exactly the problem with every one of these is always creating a potential deadly pattern. And that's why Samantha's put in every single little killer clue. I understand. Right, I'm just being slow. Apologies. Oh, of course that can't be a 2. It's on a 21 diagonal. So we could have got that more quickly. 7, 7, 2, 2. These have to add up to 14. So this square here is a 5 or an 8. I don't know if that's possible. 22 definitely can't have a 2 on it either, so the 7s go in there. That tells us that these two squares have to be a 6, 9 pair. to make sure they add up to 22. And that means that square is oh look, yes, okay, that's a 6 or a 9, but this 8 is resolving the centre with a 2-8 pair. That can't be a 9. So this is a 1 or a 5. I've got a 6-9 pair in this column as well, so that means I've got a 1-5 pair as well, and I haven't placed a 2, which now has to go here. I could have seen that if I'd concentrated on row 7 for any amount of time. Those squares are 3, 4 and 5. 6 here is doing that 9, which means that's a 9, that's a 6, that's a 6, that's a 9. That's got to be the 9 in box 4. I don't know if we can resolve these. Oh yes, we can resolve the 1 and the 5 just using the 1 here. Which means that's a 5, that's a 1. And we're just left with putting, what is it? We need a 9 in here, so that's got to be at the top. We need a 5 in here, so that's got to go there, which makes this square an 8, that square an 8, that square a 2. What do we need up here then? 1, 4 and 5 into these cells. And over here we need 1, 4 and... no, not 1, 4 and 2. 1, 4 and 8. Oh, I see. So we can place the 8 in that box. We get left with a 1, 4 pair. We can get rid of the 5 from here. But there's a 3, 7 pair in column 8. Oh, this must be resolved somehow. Why can't I see how that's resolved? No, I can't see how anything's getting resolved. But I do think we must be nearly there. 2 and 8 at the bottom of... no, that's not resolved. Oh, maybe it's that little killer then. It's possible, isn't it? So... let's think about this. If this is a 1, these two squares have to add up to 12, so they'd have to be 7 and 5 into this square. Can that be a 5? Perhaps. If this is an 8, these have to add up to 5, so that would have to be 3 here and 2 here, and the 2 here rules that out. So this is 5, this is 7, this is 1, this is 8, this is 1, this is 3, that's now a 4, that's a 5, that's a 3, that's an 8, that's a 2, that's a 6. We need a 4 in this row. That's rather gorgeous at the top. 1, 4 go in, 1, 9 go in, 9, 6 go in, 7, 3 go in, and in this box we need 2 and 6, 2 and 6, and oh no, and we still have to do those as well, 3 and 6. And that's how to, yes, solve the puzzle. Right, very much a two-part today, but yeah, I mean, I think, to be honest, I didn't have much to do, did I, once I came back to it? Yeah, it basically just resolved by Sudoku, and very beautifully actually, the way the palindromes still worked, because imagine the work Samantha must have put in to make that break-in tight, and I mean, I'm assuming now that was the break-in. I mean, it's too clever for it not to be, isn't it? I mean, it's a startling idea, it really is. But what I liked is that even once you did get this idea and you got this figured out, the rest of the puzzle was just elegant. It wasn't monstrous. We didn't have to, chase our tails for ages. It was just, yeah, an elegant, satisfying conclusion to a rather wonderful starter and main course. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. Not the same. I wonder why it's... oh, well, maybe this is hinting at the fact that we're trying to prove certain that, well, maybe that's hinting at why that can't be 1, 2, 4. I'm not sure. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed going through that with me. I'll look forward to the comments as always. Let me know how you got on. Let me know if you solved it. Let me know if you solved it a different way. It's possible there's another way to do this. And I will be very interested to know what I've missed. And also, of course, let me know about the sound quality and whether you like the new look. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.